Today I'm going to talk about how to build up key resources over time using different types of customers. And these key resources that we create are going to help keep out competitors and basically give us a more a more defensible business. The situation is that you've just inherited some land, so you've got a bunch of wooded kind of natural land out in the middle of America somewhere. And the catch is you're not allowed to cut down any of the trees, so you can't just use it for timber, and you can't do tons of building development. You also don't have a lot of money up front, which is kind of a constraint. But what you want to build is one of those sort of adventure courses, and it's for team building. You know, the things that kind of middle managers love because it's outdoorsy. It gets the whole team together. You get an experience, and they can expense the whole thing. So they spend quite a bit of money per trip, which is what you have in mind. And these run during the work week. However, unfortunately, you just don't have all the stuff that you need to make this happen, right? Like you've got you've got trees and some open area and some wildlife currently, which isn't quite enough. You're going to need to do all sorts of building. You would need things like cabins and some sort of adventure course and just stuff that's expensive to build. It takes labor, it takes a lot of materials. The labor is the real killer, though. And so, looking at this, how else can it be organized? How can you find a way to get these for free? And sometimes the answer is you bring in another customer segment. Um, so here we'll bring in eco-tourists, and these are people for whom the absence of kind of resort-like features is actually a huge selling point and a benefit. They want it to be natural. They want it to be untainted. So the value proposition for them would be something like you get to come explore the untainted wilderness. However, these guys don't have a ton of money, but that's okay because they have interests that are useful to us. They're going to put in their passion and their energy. So something we can add to the value proposition is it's going to be a hands-on educational building experience. Um, it's kind of a lot of words, but basically I mean that instead of just wandering around and feeling like passive tourists, they're going to actually get their hands dirty. They're going to be building trails. They're going to learn how to build carbon neutral, totally sustainable housing. They're going to learn about organic farming. They're going to just have the time of their lives building all this stuff, learning how to do it properly. We're going to be guiding them, us and our counselors. And at the end of it, miraculously, they're going to be outputting the things that we need to make our land more valuable for the corporate managers. So we're going to have all these beautiful, sustainable cabins. We're going to have, wonderful organic farms and fruits and vegetables and stuff. And all of this could become part of the selling point for our team building, our team building weekends or weeks. And this might even hone us in on a particular type of corporate manager. So go after we could go after the type that are representing very environment conscientious corporations. So, for example, if you're in a business that's actively seen as destroying the world, like if you do fuel or gasoline or basically anything with shipping, lots of airplanes, stuff like that. You want every opportunity you can to show that you're taking extra steps to help the environment and give back where you can. So you would probably pay a little bit extra on your team building trip just to know that you're doing it in this totally sustainable, kind of untainted, everything's good uh, environment. And then at the end, you get these sweet videos and everything, and a good PR story out of how you all had had a wonderful time. So yeah, this is basically it. The eco tourist we might charge a little bit, but we might not. One distinction though is that we've got the corporations here during the week, and we've got the eco warriors there during the weekend. These guys have jobs, they're doing other stuff, they just want to break from it and they want to learn a little bit so they can come during the weekend. Whereas the managers are going to want to expense it and cut it out of the week. So these two groups work really well together and they won't bump into each other. On the internet, it's easy to keep your different user groups, your users and your customers separated because you can just bring them to different pages or they don't see each other. If you're dealing with real space, you need to take that into consideration. So yeah, this is basically it. So we've got the ecotourists. Maybe they're paying us a little bit. Maybe it's totally free. It doesn't really matter because out of them we're getting this really valuable asset, which we can then resell as part of our value proposition to our primary customers. Um, and so yeah, the ecotourists have built our sustainable cabins, which is terrific. I don't know how we justify getting them to build like an adventure course with zip lines and stuff. You might have to do that one out of pocket. But they'll definitely help with the farming and the veggies. And you can imagine when the corporate managers are here, they're going to be excited to have their refreshments and their catering served partially out of farms that are grown on the land. These are all kind of perks that you can tie in to help differentiate yourself. And where it becomes an advantage, where these key resources come into play is as they build up over time. So when you first start out, you've got a couple cabins, you've got, a week adventure course, maybe only one zip line. It's not that interesting. But as you keep going and you keep catering to these free or low value users, you eventually build up something really remarkable here. You've got maybe just like beautiful buildings that are totally made out of local natural ingredients. You've got a huge amount of food coming from the farms. The wildlife is really sprung up around all this protected habitat. And then it becomes really difficult for a competitor to come in and just copy you with money. They need to throw a lot of time at the problem, and it's very hard for them to overcome that advantage. This is what something like Flickr has done.